Here we are, hitting up events, drinking our way through Chicago beer, and trying not to miss a thing.
Yeah, because, the cork popped out, boom, it flies like fucking 10 feet. We're like, yeah, let's do it.
All you have to do is add some fruit, stir it up, and ride that milk-shaped wave.
Whenever I see him, I gotta take a photo with the most decorated brewer in Chicago, Jonathan Cutler.
It'll be like the stuff you hear. You ever go to, every time you go to Floyd's, all the music sounds like this. Raw, raw, raw.
Sometimes you want a small beer, but really, you want a big beer.
You gotta take in all those big aromatic hops.
Hey, what are you doing this weekend? Waiting in line for a bottle release?
You should have never been a fad. The Black IPA is delicious.
Hey, and welcome to Chicago Beer Pass. I'm Brad Chmielewski.
It's Bad Bitch O'Clock. I'm Nik White.
That's what time it is. We barely survived our Oktoberfest this past weekend, but you'll hear about all that in a minute. And we are back at it again. Prostin.
Zam.
Drinking two different Oktoberfest / Marzens on this episode because I mentioned on the last episode we cannot make it through all of these in the 4 more episodes we're going to do before we have to break them all down.
Back at it again with Oktoberfest. The actual party Oktoberfest is happening now. I believe it's the 27th through the October 3rd, okay. I believe. So it's in full swing. It's much like us in full fucking swing. So we got a Marzen from On Tour Brewing, Chicago Brewing District, hello, and Old Irving Brewing.
Right, and this is their, they labeled this as their German-style Marzen lager. So, same. And we put these up together because they are both brewing district.
That's what they say, man. We went down a rabbit hole with this Finch is leaving, who's moving in thing. Right. Because Finch bought the place from Like Minds. So Finch is out. And this is the space across from Goose in Chicago Brewing District right next to Great Central. Mm-hmm. The rabbit hole began with, I want to say, who we thought would be in there. I think, we said, Pipeworks or Fly Rabbit or, whoever. Beguile, the usual suspects.
And then we were told at Oak Park Microbrew that Solomouth was going in.
The rumor kicked into high gear. Solomouth did not deny it.
They didn't deny it. Yeah. And it sounded plausible, knowing them and after what they've said with our interview where they're like, we want all these different kind of places.
Yeah. Kind of a brew dog model, if you will, or a McKellar world domination model.
Super, super local. So we kind of left it there, but then we heard Solomouth, it was not Solomouth, and then that opened it back up.
Right.
And then during the 312 block party, which we'll get into shortly, we asked around, and we heard that it's Old Irving.
Surprise. This kind of fits because I do know that Della and Beezer are brewed at Great Central.
Okay.
Right. So that part made sense. Other than that, this was a dark horse. This would not have been one of my guesses.
No, but they must be making a ton of beer.
Yeah.
Winning those couple awards definitely helps you get your beer into other markets and big chain, big box stores that you can't get into if you're not if people aren't asking for your beer.
Yeah.
So this is great for Old Irving, and we know people have had issues with Great Central brewing schedules, just stuff like that. And so I think pulling it all out, doing it themselves, that's going to be awesome.
I'm curious to know what this all means. We know it's not a public-facing venue just yet. And what does it mean for Old Irving? Are they going to just do a smaller version of Great Central's model? Who knows?
Right.
Or this is just going to be the Della and Beezer factory here?
Or are they going to get the whatever permits, documents, and make it a place you can go to?
That makes the most sense because that place is huge. You remember mini golf in there? The Goose Island mini golf? It's a big space. They used to do 312. That was one of their garages they did the concerts in, was that space. I think you're instantly in the top percentage of square footage breweries. I would say you're in the top quadrant of Chicago-based breweries for as far as space goes.
If you took that over?
If you took over that space. That's a big space.
Okay. Yeah. So we're drinking both these, both according to sources, now both district brew yards, or brewing district, not district brew yards, brewing district.
That's right. They're neighbors. They could very well be neighbors before the year's end.
Right.
So
that's awesome. And I start with the Old Irving. It's fantastic. We believe we had the Oktoberfest at the 312 Block Party.
I think it was one of the first ones we got.
From on tour.
Yeah, I think it was the first beer we got. We got that one, and we got the
Goose.
whatever the Goose was called. I don't know what that's called.
It's just Oktoberfest. Nice. So I got to finish up my little pour of Old Irving so I can compare it to this Oktoberfest because, kind of got see how they, I don't know, back to back. You just poured this one.
Yeah, the first sip of the Oktoberfest from on tour, it was fine. It had some different flavors than I was expecting. I got, a little more of that kind of root beer candy note, right? Which, I wasn't really expecting, but that was there.
Oh, yeah.
It didn't taste the way it did on draft that day. I thought the Goose one I liked a little bit better just because it was a little more neutral and kind of led with the noble hops. And this one just kind of, it was dark and a little, we always say sweet, just richer with more caramel flavor.
Okay.
And not always like that classic biscuit nuttiness, just kind of some other flavors. Yeah,
Okay.
like these layers of sweetness. So
All right. And then how does Old Irving compare?
I haven't hit this one yet.
Okay.
So
All right. We'll come back to some notes. So we got to talk about our adventure to the 312 Block Party. We had planned to just meet up, bike down there.
that was the plan. Let's ride from the northwest side down to Goose.
And then I saw that Metropolitan was having their Oktoberfest that day. So why not stop in there and get a picture?
I mean, it's not that far. Now, I was indifferent when Brad said, let's stop at Metro for a pint. I'm like, well, that's fine. It's Metro. Nothing wrong with that. I didn't know it was the Oktoberfest. I didn't realize that. So,
And this was a full-on party, which we did not realize how big it was until halfway through our beers. And the smartest thing we did that led us down this rabbit hole was getting liters.
I mean, well, first of all, we got to get the pick. And then second of all, I had been in the car for a lot for some reason that day. And I'm just like, well, let's call it. We kept thinking half or full. And we're like, you know what? It's the adventure will start with a full air.
Yeah. If I was doing a do-over, I would have just been like, let's just do half liters. They'll look the same for the picture.
No, man.
It's cool.
No, man. I would do the full liter again.
So we both got liters of their Oktoberfest, which was a good baseline for the day.
Yeah.
And kind of set the stage for what was to come. But over at Metro, they had the whole back area of their brewery set up. There was Stein holding. There was other beers being poured.
What's this game with you were showing me with the
there
wood
was,
and the hammers?
Jaeger, no. Hammerschlager.
Yeah.
There was that going on. Pretzels.
Pretzels were fantastic, man. Cheers to I looked at my phone and Demon's Tap was the receipt on the phone. And I can remember being at Dovetail, and Dovetail had a pretzel that looked just like this. It's kind of round, kind of fatter one, and it was not hot.
Yeah.
And it was not as good. This fresh, warm, hot pretzel with your big salt, with 3 different accoutrement options.
Yeah.
Brad. It's fantastic. You got a horseradish cheese, you got a
Beer cheese.
and a Dusseldorf mustard. Win, big win.
Pretty good.
Yeah.
Nice. And then, as we're halfway through this pint, or this liter, not a pint, halfway through this liter, we have the idea that, well, why would we just go right to Goose? That would be ridiculous. There's other places to go to.
Now I'm thinking, Maple Room is walking distance from Metro. So I'm thinking, all right, cool. We go to Maple Room, have a pint, then it's over.
Yeah.
Then we go to Goose.
But then Ravinia was right there too.
I mean, it's right there. That's the problem with this decision.
So we had to pick one. This was we were working our way there because if we just go in the walking distance, we'll never make it.
Yeah.
So we decided on Ravinia because we knew Maplewood has Oktoberfest, but we didn't know how busy it was going to be. We didn't know if we could get a seat. what was that? And we made the right choice with Ravinia because they had boots.
Yeah, they had boots, cute little boots for the picture, maybe half liter.
Yeah.
And I think Maplewood they definitely had a Fest whiskey, but then I don't even know, like to your point, did they even have a Fest beer pouring?
I believe they do.
Maybe.
Yeah.
But yeah, we ended up at Maple. We ended up at Ravinia.
Yeah.
Good call. And then, we went from a liter to a half liter. Also a good call.
Yeah.
And then, it gave us a chance to reflect on what we just experienced at Metro. At this killer bar at Ravinia. I forget the story, but I think they imported it from Wisconsin. They imported it from Wisconsin. It takes up most of the dining areas. It's one of the coolest bars around.
Yeah.
And we're sitting there and we're like, man, this Ravinia beer is not bad at all.
Yeah, it was pretty good, especially coming off of the Metropolitan. Our standard. I'm not gonna say it's the best one, but it's the one it's the most reliable, and it's the one you have to judge everyone else by.
Yeah, and quickly, I think the Metro one is built. We were saying this that day. It's built for the liter pour. When we get halfway through the liter or 3/4 the way through the liter, it's still an enjoyable experience.
Right. It's not. It doesn't. Although it's starting to warm up, it's not like. It doesn't feel heavy. You're not like hating yourself for now getting this liter, and it's just not working out. It's not filling, so you're like, all right, just keep going.
I think that's the best thing you can say about it. Not what it is, but what it's not.
Yeah.
So you go to a place like Ravinia, and it hits all the style points you would expect, but it's a little denser.
Yeah.
Right. The more you get through that boot, it gets a little sweeter.
Once you get down to the toe.
Yeah. Now it's like it's rich in a way that it's not off-putting, but it's just not what you want after having the full liter of the other one, right? Mm-hmm. You notice the difference. That's all. You just notice the difference.
Right.
Yeah.
So that was a nice little stop at Ravinia. They had their Oktoberfest a few weeks ago. We sent a few messages to those guys on Twitter while we were there. Got our boot picture, and decided one more stop before Goose.
I had some questions about this, but then Brad talked me into it quickly. So we hop on Diversity Ave and head west for a couple blocks.
Yeah.
And then south.
And we get to Pilot Project.
Yes.
It felt like the most logical step from Ravinia trying to get to Goose Island. You would have had possibly the Rev Brew Pub on Kedzie, or not Kedzie, Milwaukee. Peace. We weren't sure if Peace had an Oktoberfest. And that would have been really it, Forbidden Root. But then at that point, we're basically at Goose.
Yeah. And this was also an adventure because they had 2 different Oktoberfest styles on.
Right. They had a Fest beer and a Marzen.
Yeah. One was from, I want to say Brewer's Kitchen.
Yeah, which is Pilot Project.
Yeah. And the other one was, the guys.
Funky Town.
Yeah, Funky Town.
These did not hit.
We
left.
We didn't finish these beers. I think let's start with the Fest beer, right? The Pilot Project one, right? And we've been drinking Oktoberfest for like a month now,
right?
And
we just had 2 really good ones. One like from Metro that you have to.
Yeah.
If it's not that good, I don't. Why would I leave? I should have just stayed at Metro.
The Fest beer was kind of like, I don't know. I'm telling you, it felt like cherry. It felt more like a cherry kind of pale almost.
Yeah.
Right? It was kind of strange that this was like, why does it taste like this if this is a Fest beer? And then I think the same for Funky Town. And I love the Funky Town stuff, but this one as a Marzen on its own, I'm like, well, it doesn't really taste like what we've known to be a Marzen.
Yeah, it felt a little heavy. Oh no, I didn't try that one. Did we get? No.
We got 8. They came in these beautiful 14.5 ounce Teku glasses.
Yeah.
And then we went and got water cups, and then we both had.
Oh, we had a little.
We
bit?
both had half.
Okay.
Yeah.
Did we take a picture at Pilot Project?
We did. We were sitting. We were on the wall.
Oh yeah.
And then we moved to the front because the main bar was a much better photo.
Oh yeah. I don't. Did I post that picture?
Yeah, there's both of them. Yeah. Yeah.
See, at that point, the leader and the boot.
Mind you, this is Brad's call. He's like, "Yo, let's make like 4 stops," and I'm just like, "Well, it is Saturday, and it's fucking perfect." I was like 67.
So it was kind of, it was good that those weren't good. That was good for us because we left We left half the pours. They didn't come in like a stein or a boot. They were in just the pilot project glasses, which they're nice.
Yeah, I mean, whether it's the Ravinia one was good. Whether it's Metro or Art History or Dovetail or even like Polaner or whoever, like you have this style over and over and over again, and then these aren't really like they're not in step with the flavors. I'm not saying it's got to be like my preference. It's just not in step with the flavors. Whether you're looking at if you're looking at the guide that tells you what the styles are, you're looking at the style guide, or you're just comparing it to what you had. We're like, man, why do these taste so much different from what we've been drinking? This does not make sense.
They weren't right.
Yeah.
And so we hit up the bathroom. We left half the pour there, and then we got on the bikes, which then somehow we got the Goose.
Straight down Milwaukee Avenue, man.
This was
Milwaukee to Damon.
No one should be drinking this amount and biking. It is not safe. Someone else should be taking you to your destinations. We were not playing it safe.
I didn't really know you could get ripped off Oktoberfest like that. Because it's like, what, 5-6%, right?
But the ride from Pilot Project to Goose is a blur, I guess. I don't remember.
Lucky for us, both Milwaukee and Damon have some pretty secure bike lanes.
Yeah, that's true.
So it was okay.
Yeah.
It was okay.
So we get the Goose pretty empty, right? Like the bike racks were not full.
It was open. It was a lot of open space. We came in from the west, and it was wide open. It was wide open. I would say 4 or 5 o'clock-ish, right? It was wide open. I think by the time we left, it got a lot more heavy.
Yeah.
Yeah, but when we got there was plenty of room to move. So not completely empty, but like in comparison to past 312 days, where you might not even get in. There's so many fucking people. Right? It wasn't that. But we passed Zwanza Day on the way down there. There were maybe 500 plus people at fucking Metro that day. Mm-hmm. There was other stuff going on, and the town was very active.
Sketchbook had their Oktoberfest going on too.
So it was just a very busy weekend.
So we get to Goose. We see Ken Honeymeter.
Yeah, man. Cheers to Honey Money.
Give him a big hug when we got there, and we went and got some tokens. First thing we got was this On Tour Oktoberfest and Goose Island's Oktoberfest. We were in the zone.
Yeah.
We were focused.
Let's get to the bottom of this Oktoberfest thing.
Yeah. Goose's was pretty good. I
actually liked it a little bit more than the On Tour.
And I would almost want to see what maybe the Rev and Goose one side by side are kind of, because they're produced on a much larger scale. And see how those are kind of playing together.
Yeah. So we got our Oktoberfest fill at the block party, and now, as far as I'm concerned, let's go find some goddamn BCS.
Yeah.
And let's find some sours, and let's get after it. Let's see who's playing. I am old. I know. Did you know any of these? I knew none of these fucking bands.
I didn't know there was bands.
Deer Tick, Nation of Language, I'm like, I got nothing.
Yeah, but buddy Wayne and Michael, they were there. They know these bands.
They were very familiar. So Goose Island Block Party is 2 blocks, right? Mm-hmm. The block with the brewery, and then the next block with the other 2 breweries. Right,
and then that other block has the bathrooms, the food, and they had this weird beer hug kind of, I don't know, DJ backyard sort of they're leaning hard into this brand, and I don't know what this brand is.
The old dock party, the Goose Island dock is where the Harvestdale dock party used to be, and that big trailer was branded with Bear Hug stuff. It was a big Bear Hug logo all over the trailer.
Yeah.
As soon as we walked in, and then to Brad's point, there's a huge installation of just a Bear Hug focused section of the party. It's like the Bear Hug lounge area, right?
Yeah, and then the only thing I could say about these, they are good, solid IPAs. But they're almost set up in a small, medium, large. How drunk do you want to get? Do you want a little? All right. Or do you want to go big? That's what it feels like. You have 3 options at 5. Then there's a 6.5, and then there's the 9.
Yeah, you're talking almost 10% in a big boy can too, like a tall boy can, right?
I think they were only 12-ounce cans.
Okay.
But those were $5 too. They were doing tall. I got in our little reel, I got a tall lemonade shanty for $5. But then it was a 12-ounce, 9 beer hug.
Big beers. The bear is everywhere. We got a picture with the bear.
Yeah.
The bear's on billboards. The bear's everywhere.
Yeah. Our best picture of the night might have been at Metro with the face cut out.
Oh, I forgot about the face cutout. Yeah, Metro had a DJ in their brew house, and they had these face cutouts of like a German couple. It was kind of weird. It's kind of cool. Oh, and Metro had the Doppelbock. They had all the different variants. Yeah. There was a Malort one, an oak-aged one.
There was a pumpkin spice. I think there was a pumpkin spice Oktoberfest.
So they took like crankshaft and whatever the Doppelbock is, and that was their variants. Yeah, that was cool. Man, good for them. I'm happy for Metro because that place was fucking packed. I didn't even know it was that big. Yeah. Oh, but yeah, Goose, man.
So then we got after the bourbon counties.
Yeah. So all the warehouses are where all the drafts are for all the things that Goose is pouring, except for BCS. You got to go into the brewery for that. You got to go into the tap room for that. Yeah.
And I mentioned, Nick, on the last episode that they've streamlined this. There's no line. There's no waiting. You walk in, you pick up your beer, and drop your token off, and that's how it worked.
Yeah, man, it flowed pretty easy. I think the ones we saw were a maple Bissell, whatever that is. Probably maple barrel finished BCS. The 2021 remix, something called a BCS double rye. I'm still not sure what the fuck that is. Those are the only ones I remember.
It was weak. Like, I feel like...
Oh, Vanilla 2018.
Yeah, but I feel like we asked about a few of them, like, where's Mint? Where's Fernet?
It'd been nice to try Mint or Regal Rye. That would have been
like,
nice.
Oh, there was one of those was last night. We don't have that. And so sort of like, these are fine, but they weren't like a crazy one that you're like, oh my God, I got to try peanut butter and jelly Bourbon County.
That's fair. I mean, you could have had some that were almost either draft only or even just exclusive to that party, right? So I did the 2021 remix is the 2021 prop remix. So it's, if I got this right, it was the 2014 prop that they released again in 2021. Okay. Right? And so that was the coconut water one, right? So they made it again, but this year they made it with, or last year they made it with, it was a rye stout instead of your regular BCS. And they added more coconut. So this remix just amplified the coconut, I believe. Okay. Right? So I think that was the best one of the ones I had.
Yeah, the remix, yeah.
It was the most memorable.
That's the one I kind of remember having. I think we had some vanilla there at the end, which was whatever at that point. It was just kind of like,
well, because all we shared a pretzel, Brad.
Yeah,
a fantastic pretzel, but that's all we had.
Yeah.
So by the time Vanilla 2018 rolls around, we're just like, yeah,
that's good. Then I think that's when I got the lemonade shanty, and I was like, yeah, this is what I need right now.
Yeah, I did enjoy vanilla. But then we were looking for the sours. I was like, yo, I'm here for Lolita, somebody.
Yeah.
The closest I got was something called it's queer. I'll take that one. It was basically a white ale with peaches, something with queer in the title.
Right.
And the conversation came up. We saw our guy Mike Jacobs, pub master at Goose Island.
Oh yeah, I remember when he came and he like hugged me, and I just hugged him back. But that took me a minute to remember who he was. Like, I was like, yeah. I was like, whatever.
Friend of the pod, former guest of the show, alumni, if you will. So a long time ago, we heard. Well, this was just like a random response on like a Twitter rant, and someone responded that the sisters are dead. You'll never see them again. And I never paid attention because it sounded ridiculous, right? So we're sitting here with Goose and we're asking this question, like, hey, this was random, but how true is that? And they kind of confirmed it, like, yo, there's no plans to make it. If they made it, it would be undercutting their retail partners. And, there's enough, the inventory out there is enough to the point where they don't feel the need to make it. And it's a very expensive beer to make. So
there's just enough sitting on the shelves and in kegs.
Or at the distributor.
Oh, that's weird.
Yeah, which I don't really just see these beers out there.
No.
So that was, when you look at what Goose's focus is, They're fucking making all this beer hug shit and then decide they can't make. They got commercials for this fucking IPA and they can't make the sisters. So I kind of made a comment, and by that time, we're feeling good. I'm just like from a nerd perspective, right? Even on like Beer Advocate, for example, you look at the Goose Island, the highest rated beers in Goose Island are always BCS and the sisters.
Yeah.
And everything else is just like completely of their special release stuff, not Sophie Matilda. But those are the two beers that nerds get excited about.
But if the price, if it's so expensive and so time consuming to make, they're like, whatever. Okay, it's rated highly. That doesn't matter. We can sell 3 times as much tropical beer hug versus like Juliet.
We can have it, we can run specials on it. We can have it at bars. We can have it at ball games. I get it.
Right. The sisters never, they tried for a while to fit in at like restaurants and stuff.
Yeah.
I don't think people care anymore.
Yeah.
There's too many other options.
So it's interesting to see how tastes change. Yeah. It's like I know what I drink, I know what Brad drinks, but I guess no one cares about some of the things that like, I don't know, used to be pretty cool.
Yeah. And then we found out they had the Blackhawks beer there, and I thought they just peeled off the Sox label and slapped the Blackhawks on it. If that's on the store, I'd be like, well, that's the golden ale. Cool. I will get that.
Right.
They brewed another beer. Where's all the golden ale? That should have been the question.
Yeah. This apparently is a whole nother beer. It's not a pale.
It's an IPA.
It's like a small IPA. I think it's like 5.4%. I think the golden ale was 5. This is 5.4. The golden ale was a golden.
Blackhawks pale.
Yeah. And I think at the launch for the golden, they said they put a little, a little flaked oat in the Sox one. But then this is just a straight up pale. So he's like, no, that's a whole different beer.
That was a shocker. So now I guess I gotta try this because I was like, I like the golden ale. I guess I'll get that, but I had no need to try the Blackhawks beer.
Yeah, and we'll probably see it everywhere. It's a very nice can.
Yeah,
it's the logo in neon, which is pretty cool.
Mm-hmm. So. And then I randomly asked, like, oh, we need some Midway IPA.
Oh yeah, I remember that one. Yeah.
And then apparently
draft only Clybourne right there, bud.
Right, but this beer is it's an international IPA. It's only brewed at international Goose Islands.
That's funny. Oh, Midway IPA?
Midway IPA. That's where you can now find that, which is kind of funny.
Interesting. Kind of like you can only get certain shoes in Japan. Nike don't sell certain shoes in America.
Right.
You gotta do what you gotta do when you're a big company.
Man, I feel like we have a lot of facts on this episode with old Irving. We got Goose Island confirming things.
Yeah. Well, confirming this temporary death of the sisters.
Yeah.
New neighbor in the brewing district. It was a good hang.
Midway IPA. I feel like we've already said this before, but the Midway IPA thing.
Yeah, I want to say that was a Will Turner special back in the day.
Oh, it was?
Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah. They made me want to try. We were talking about our guy down at Weiner.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, who used to work at Goose.
Mm-hmm. And,
he's like, the truest essence of beers like Halia and Sophie, if you want to experience what the true expression of those is, you go down to Weiner.
Okay.
Yeah, and try those.
So there you go. That was an adventure and a half. That was a Saturday to be remembered that you won't remember, right? That's what that felt like. Good thing we have a lot of photos.
On the way back, Brad almost got hit by a car. I almost got hit by a car.
I think I hit you. I ran into you at some point too.
It was we survived it though. Now we know.
And it started to rain. That was like the worst part about the ride.
We got caught in the rain on the way back.
I feel like it would have been better smooth sailing back down Elston without the rain.
We should have tuned in to Tom Skilling, man.
The rain just added when you're like feeling good from drinking, and then you had the rain, and it's like, it's just not fun. You're like, why did I do this?
Man.
I think that people we were hanging out with, they might have went to District Brew Yards after.
I mean, that'd be a good after party.
And we both opted out. We're like, we have to leave, and that was probably the best decision of the night.
I think so.
So now that we had both this On Tour and Old Irving, I have to say the Old Irving's a little better.
I'd agree.
There's some I have a little bit of the On Tour left, but I kind of want to open another can of this Old Irving.
Yeah.
The Oktoberfest from On Tour feels a little heavier. Something isn't making me feel happy.
Yeah, it is about that. The logo on this OIB Oktoberfest is really nice, man. It's got the underwater marine hat on the crest. It's a crest. It's got the lion and the goat, but then there's hops, there's arrows. It's just a very old Irving interpretation of the steampunk kind of. It's really cool. Mm-hmm. The crest, it's like a beer. It's an old Irving version of a crest. That's very cool.
Yeah. I think the Old Irving is coming off a little sweeter too. Maybe that's kind of what I'm appreciating right now.
You know, and then after having the Metro one, I'm like, well, are these supposed to be this sweet?
Yeah,
right?
Not.
Are they?
Because Metro's isn't very sweet.
No.
It's like clean. It's like refreshing. And so then you're like, you almost have to keep going back to that one to like, I don't know, like reground yourself.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, you know, like these beers, these other ones we're having are good. After a while, the sweetness becomes reminiscent of, I think we said this in the last episode, it becomes reminiscent of like a cereal sweetness, you know? And it's like, well, that's fine, but is that what it's supposed to taste like?
Yeah.
You know?
All right. We're going to save these, but these don't rank as high as maybe the Solemn Oath or the Sketchbook one is still up there.
I think of the ones we had on the shows, the Solemn Oath is probably my favorite.
Yeah, okay.
Or the Hopewell one.
Hopewell one was good too. I got Pipeworks for next week.
Okay.
So that one should be good. Or we don't know if it's gonna be good, but that'll be good. Haven't had a Pipeworks beer in a long time.
That's true.
So, all right. Anything else we need to mention, or that was just a long rant of our Saturday adventure?
Getting drunk and riding, enjoying the start of the fall. Man, shout out to New Glarus, man. I listened to a New Glarus podcast, and it caught my attention because Dan Carey, you know, Dan and Deb, the husband-wife duo up there. Mm-hmm. This was our episode about Weiss beers, about wheat beers. And since they've been around, they've made 12 different wheat beers.
What?
Since the beginning, yeah. And they talked about their love for wheat beers and how I think Dancing Man and Bubbler are the two.
Bubbler?
Yeah, Bubbler's a newer one.
Oh.
Yeah.
But brand new?
Yeah, like new to this year.
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
What caught my attention about it, though, was that, Dancing Man started as Solstice. But Solstice, a brewery down in the same state, used the name Solstice, and instead of suing them and hanging out in court, they just changed the name of their beer to Dancing Man. And then that goes into a conversation about how Deb is the one who actually draws all these labels by hand. And I didn't know that. So she drew the Dancing Man label. And the Dancing Man label is the label for the podcast. So that caught my attention. He used to be a supervisor at an AB facility. Oh. So he was a supervisor, and then he left there and he started doing contracting to build breweries. So he helped build like 40, 50 breweries. Oh, but he said when he started New Glarus, he was making a fraction of what he made at AB. Like he was making like
the beer or the price or his pay?
His salary.
Oh, okay.
His salary maybe would have been like 10% of what he was making at AB.
Okay.
Like huge difference. Yeah. So that caught my attention. Oh, but then the wheat beers. So he's talking about these wheat beers and how his the true Bavarian style is to have it be double concocted, right? So they bring it to a boil twice. You know, compared to like American wheat ales, you know, it's more like a tea kind of thing. Bring it to a boil, you put your grains in, get it out, kind of thing, right? That's his perception. But he's like, so we make ours that way, and then also we have open fermenters, and we have them because Weiss yeast performs better when it's not pressurized by a tank. So when it's, you know, when you've got an open tank, you know, it brings out fruitier esters if the tank's open because all those harsh aromas and flavors float to the top and you can kind of cleanse those off.
Okay.
really, I guess I never paid attention to any of this when I think about wheat beers.
No, not really.
Yeah.
Huh.
So cheers to them, because that was super fun. Listen,
When's like the wheat beer season? Is wheat beers more like a springtime?
yeah, that's a fair question. It sounds like they wanted to have this brewery be just a Weiss beer brewery. They just wanted to make, and the wife's like, no, we're not doing that. Yeah, but it sounds like they have different beers for different occasions. So the Bubbler's a summer one,
Bubbler's summer.
and then they've got one in the Thumbprint series is going to be like closer to 9%, and that comes in 4-pack.
Okay. So Bubbler is already gone for the
Yeah,
season.
Bubblers was a small, refreshing seasonal wheat.
Oh, damn.
Yeah. And Dancing Man is every other year, they said.
Oh.
Yeah. So that was cool. We all knew Glarus. So for him getting on the mic for a half hour and having this dude asking a bunch of questions, I thought that was cool.
Yeah. That's pretty awesome.
So cheers to them.
Yeah, have to. Makes me want to make a run up to, the border.
Fucking apparently Spotted Cow has 5% weed in it.
Really?
Right.
Yeah. Spotted Cow is one of those beers like I feel like everyone likes to say they like, but no one really likes. Right?
It's fine.
It's fine.
It's not the nectar of the state.
You're like mildly excited when you see it,
Yeah.
but then if you see any of the other New Glarus ones, you're like, no, I'll take that one.
Oh, like
instead.
any of the fruit stuff or the wild stuff.
Anything. If you see like
Or
the
Moon Man.
brown, or if you see Moon Man, well, yeah. If you see like, what's the squirrel?
Fat squirrel.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you're like, I'll take that
Two
over.
Women.
Yeah, I'll take almost any of them over Spotted Cow.
That's a fact. If Spotted Cow was here year round, we wouldn't be that. We're excited about it because we can't get it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I agree.
Cool. All right, we're gonna get out of here. We're probably gonna take it a little easier this weekend. I don't think we can. That's like every other year go that hard kind of adventure.
I think the Big North was the last time we got after like that.
Whew.
Yeah.
And remember to eat then. Remember to eat. That's the key to drinking. Remember to eat.
Or something.
So, Nick, where can people find you? Get in touch when we're not here.
Hey, man. I'm on Twitter at Nicosio.
And I'm on Twitter at BRAD, Chicago Beer Pass, Twitter, Instagram. We were blowing up Instagram on Saturday, so hopefully you enjoyed the steins, the boots, the pilot project, me dancing in the street, our picture with the bear.
I'm just glad we made it home, man.
But we'll be back with another episode soon. Take care.
Cheers.